Investigator Belknap back outside? Okay, all right. Anything to take up before I call for jurors?
No, not this time around.
All right, anybody? All right, have a hearing none. Can we have Investigator Belknap please come back in?
Yo, Ashley from Texas, Louisiana. What's up? I'm in here. Good morning.
All right, starting
Straight up, let's rock.
First, please.
What's up with y'all? You booming? What's up? You booming? Where the sales at? It's early morning, 8 o'clock. Where the sales at? You heard me. How long you been out here? Where the sales at? Huh? Ain't nobody been out? Man, where the sales at? You got 17. Give it a hit. I won all money. What's up? Ain't no shorts today. We taking all money. Cloud, Jawan, Michael, what's up? Ashley. Tap the like button if you in here. If you new around here, we about to get to rolling. I don't know why my internet, my Firefox acting crazy too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Yeah. What's up, guys? I found something that was interesting. Tap the like button when you get in here. What's up? Where? Woo! Who that? So where did my controllers go? That is crazy.
Woo! All right, thank you, sir.
Yo.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, jury. Good morning. All
Winston,
right.
what up?
Without further delay, we're going to continue with our current examination. Ms. Hilton.
Let's rock.
Detective, you're still on the road. Okay? Sorry, you're still on the road. Yes, sir.
Now, yesterday, I think we left off talking about training. Are you an instructor?
I am.
And what courses do you teach?
I teach a variety of courses regarding gang investigation and prosecution. Two of the primary ones that I assist in instructing are the Georgia Gang Investigators Association's Basic Gang Investigator Certification and Intermediate Gang Investigator Certification courses.
And in order to develop your curriculum, do you
Yo, I swear there's something wrong with my
are you an instructor?
Why
I am.
is that
And
condemned?
what courses do you teach?
I teach a variety of courses regarding gang investigation and prosecution. Two of the primary ones that I assist in instructing are the Georgia Gang Investigators
Pay attention, y'all.
Association's Basic Gang Investigator Certification and Intermediate Gang Investigator.
All right, so hold on. To the people that are saying, tap the like button, y'all. Straight up, tap the like button. My bad, I'm grinding. Yo, if you ain't here, this is Belknap's third time coming. He came for a motion hearing. He was the first witness, and then he came back. Now, this time he came back, they was on his heels. The defense was really on his heels, y'all. I'm going to keep it real. This might have been the turning point, to be honest, where they found out how to attack the gang expert. And they found out that the state was really banking on this dude. Tap the like button.
Certification courses.
And
Nikki, salute for them emails too. I appreciate that. Straight up.
in order to develop your curriculum, do you speak with anyone to determine what information you should be including in your presentations or in your teachings?
I do.
Who do you speak with?
We often speak with officers and investigators, both those primarily assigned to investigate street gangs, but also those who are not primarily assigned to investigate street gangs. These could be patrol officers or detectives assigned to other specialized units investigating a variety of crimes.
And as a result of those conversations, have you found that there's a gap in what responding and patrol officers know about recognizing gang evidence?
Objection, Your Honor. Specific hearsay. Oh.
Yeah, yes, we have.
Okay. And what is it that you've learned just in the course of gathering that information?
So really, my goal in creating the training is to identify those gaps. And we find sometimes that gap is the ability to recognize gang identifiers when seen, to understand the context of those gang identifiers, also to recognize the signs or indicators that a particular crime might relate to the gang's activities and not just be independent in nature. Those happen both at the patrol level, responding as a first responding officer to the scene of a crime, but also for investigators who are gathering information beyond that initial call that may contribute to the overall understanding of the crime itself.
And Detective Belknap, how many gang cases have you investigated over the course of your career?
I truly couldn't count the number of investigations I've been involved in, but it's certainly in the thousands.
Okay. And when you investigate gang cases of particularly confirmed gang members, do you review their criminal histories?
I do.
Why?
It can be informative, especially from the perspective of gang investigations and uncovering the patterns and practices and behaviors of a particular criminal street gang. Oftentimes we connect dots with current crimes from crimes that have happened previously.
Madam City. Oh, sir.
And in looking at their previous history, have you uncovered that some of those confirmed gang members have previous arrests?
Yes.
And have you had uncovered that some of those confirmed gang members have prior convictions?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the distinction between the arrest and the conviction?
So arrest is the probable cause standard. It means that there is...
Your Honor, I would object. Oh, objection.
So it means that we've found enough evidence to meet the first tier standard to get an arrest warrant for a particular crime. However, we must then investigate further, and then that is ultimately brought before a judge or a jury for that final standard of a conviction.
Object, full screen. Oh, sir.
For the actual conviction of a crime. So an arrest certainly does not ultimately and always end in a conviction.
And in looking at confirmed gang members, either previous arrests or convictions, do you look into the facts surrounding either the arrest or the convictions?
Yes, ma'am.
And in reviewing those cases, have you found, in some of those cases, evidence of gang involvement that may or may not have been charged?
Yes, oftentimes we do.
May I ask the court?
What's the basis of your objection, sir?
It's vague. I don't know what case.
I'll stand as to that, and you can rephrase.
Sure, Your Honor. In your experience of investigating just confirmed gang members and looking at just generally their history, have you found cases in which there were previous arrests or convictions, and you looked at the facts of those cases and determined that there was gang evidence within those cases?
I have.
Right. And in those prior cases, have
Tap the like button.
the gang act always been charged?
It has not.
Sunday morning, good morning. Hallelujah. You go to church?
And does the fact that a gang charge was not put on
That's
those
right.
prior cases,
I'll stand as to form.
and looking at those
All right.
prior,
I want y'all to pay attention because it's important. This the gang expert's second time when he came back, right? So if you ask me, the state was trying to cover their ass. It looked like they might have been on the internet watching. Not nobody specific. Just paying attention to the effect that this gang expert had, right? Now it looked like they really trying to clean up what he said the first time in the responses. Like they really understand that they dropped the ball. And I don't know, that's the way it looked to me.
cases, when you've evaluated them and looked at the evidence, what if any thoughts go, what if, excuse me, let me strike this. It is a bad question. Does the fact that a gang warrant was never issued for a defendant's arrest mean that it was not a gang crime?
Your Honor.
I stand the question.
What's the basis, Your Honor? That's,
It's an improper question. You know I can interrupt you at any point in time, right?
You definitely can. I would just understand
All right,
what
so,
the case
all right, it's an improper question among many things.
does the fact that the warrant was not, that there was no charges, mean that there was no evidence of gang involvement?
Leading question.
I stand as to form.
What, if anything, does it mean if there's gang evidence but no arrest charges?
Your Honor.
Basis.
I don't.
You have to say objections because Ms. Weaver's taking it down. So please say objection and then please tell me what the basis is.
Three bases. Vague, no foundation. I don't know what case we're talking about. Irrelevant.
I stand it.
We'll come back. As a gang investigator, do you always take out gang warrants when a known gang member is alleged to have committed a crime?
Answer on yesterday.
No, you- And Your Honor, just,
I'm going to overrule the objection and please stand and so Ms. Weaver can go ahead and get that for purposes of what she needs to do. Okay.
and I'll repeat the question.
That's not the first time she's told all of you that, so please go ahead and do that.
As a gang investigator, do you always take out gang warrants when a known gang member is alleged to have committed a crime?
No.
Why or why not?
Gang crimes are not status offenses whereby if a gang member or an identified gang member commits a crime, it thereby is considered a gang crime. What we're investigating is whether this crime is part of the gang's activities or has some connection with the actual gang, not only with the gang member themselves.
And when you are determining to take out an additional warrant for gang activity, how do you determine if a crime is in furtherance of the gang?
Your Honor, That goes to intent.
Could you please object, Mr. Steele, and state?
That's my objection. It goes to intent of 7.
I'm going to overrule your objection, sir. Yes, Mr. Sharp, what's your objection? Huh?
Your Honor, he's
I'm
in.
going to overrule your objection, sir. You can answer the question, please, if you can.
As we discussed when I was here back in November, we typically view the primary interests of the gang as being the pursuit of money, power, and respect. As we're evaluating those things, we may look at whether a particular crime has had certain impacts, including was the crime potentially committed as retaliation against another person for an insult against the gang itself or a gang member? Did the gang receive proceeds, money, something else of value from the commission of this crime? Was the crime committed in a highly visible manner such that victims or witnesses may know or be able to determine or identify that a particular gang committed this crime? Did the gang member boast or take credit for this crime, maybe on social media, as a way to enhance their own reputation or gain promotion within the gang? Was there evidence that this crime was intended to establish or maintain or reinforce or enhance the gang's reputation? Is there evidence that the gang itself is taking credit for this crime as a way to intimidate others or promote itself? All of these reasons plus others, including whether the crime was committed with other gang members and that cooperation that is a benefit provided by the gang itself. Was the crime committed within the turf or territory claimed by the gang, that's sort of their protected area whereby they use that area to commit some of their crimes? So those are some of the things that we may consider in trying to reach that conclusion.
So I want to ask you hypothetically, if an individual commits an armed robbery in broad daylight around 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and they have a YSL tattoo on their face, and they rob a person without a mask with other individuals, would that be evidence or something that you consider to be in furtherance of a gang?
Objection, Your Honor.
Basis, Mr. Sharp.
This is debating the province of the jury.
I'm going to overrule the objection, Mr. Sharp.
Additionally, Your Honor, it's mirroring hypothetical.
Salute to everybody in here. Good morning.
It's a what hypothetical?
I'm in here doing some work. I don't know what the hell going on with this. Something acting wonky.
That the state's response, is there a case law? I don't know. Is there a case law to support a mirroring hypothetical?
I'll overrule the objection, Mr. Sharp.
And may I place an objection on the record, which calls for an ultimate conclusion, Your Honor.
You're right.
Overrule, Mr. Matthews. Yes, yes, Mr. Steele.
Thank you, sir. Can I have a continuing objection to intent? Not beyond the ken of the jury. That's my objection.
I'll give you a continuing objection. I'm not going to give it on that basis. Okay? All right.
Your Honor, you all have that continuing objection.
Yes, sir, you may. Okay, all right.
You may answer.
Yes, it certainly could be. And with gang identifiers, of course, we call them identifiers because the intent is for the person to be identifiable. Again, not necessarily by the police, but oftentimes by rivals, potential victims, witnesses, etc.
Okay. And let me ask you another hypothetical. If a person secures a location for gang members to congregate and sell drugs, but that person doesn't himself or herself get caught selling any drugs at that particular location, has that person furthered the interest of the gang by providing a location where its members can meet and sell drugs?
Objection.
Basis. I stand as to form.
Sure. Hypothetically, if a person secures a location for gang members to congregate and sell drugs, has that person furthered the interest of the gang?
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Part of the foundation for being able to sell drugs is having a place to do that. A place of safety is very important to that. It's a dangerous business. And by providing that location, you've now facilitated their ability to sell with some relative safely their narcotics to earn income that supports, of course, each individual, but also the group as a whole.
Also, in your experience, does paying a bond for a fellow gang member who commits criminal acts promote or further the interests of the gang?
Certainly.
Why and how?
That's also part of that network effect. While gang members benefit individually from their crimes and from the proceeds of those crimes, there's also a collective agreement within most of our street gangs where if a particular gang member is in need of financial help,
Continuing objection goes to intent.
Not intent, sir. I'll give you continuing objection, okay?
And the yes and no.
All right. I'm gonna overrule the objection.
As mentioned a few minutes ago, some of the factors we consider as to whether an individual is committing a crime for the gang are going to be things like who did they commit the crime with, the location where the crime occurred, and we also look for evidence of the benefits of that crime. Is this a crime that's part of the gang's typical activities and therefore serves to maintain or enhance their reputation within the gang? Does this crime enhance their own reputation as a gang member? Are they flaunting the proceeds?
Tap the like button, y'all. Salute to everybody in here. It's time to bowl up. You already know what time it is, man. Yo, this gang expert, they gonna roast his ass, y'all. I'm telling you. Brian Steele and them is going, Shark going basically hit a home run. He going to attack direct talking points. Then Steele going to get up here and basically put pressure on yo multiple times, y'all. Like he going to put yo in a box. Watch.
Of these crimes on social media or some other public way. We know that they are seeking that money, power, and respect. So we're looking for those motives behind an individual crime. There's a bit of a misconception about gangs generally, and what I've found in my experience and has been supported.
Hold on. I'll sustain the objection as to being non-responsive. You can ask an additional question.
Was there a second part to your question?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is that?
So there's often a misconception about gangs generally, and the reality is that, in my experience and supported by over 100 years of social science research, is that gangs exist on a continuum from highly organized criminal enterprises to loosely organized delinquent groups. Most street gangs operate primarily as entrepreneurial opportunities for their members. Members may commit crimes that benefit them, at least in the short run individually, but they benefit from the collective of the gang in that they receive protection from rivals or enemies. They receive support in case they're in some kind of trouble based on enemies or potentially an arrest. They also benefit socially from this. Gangs certainly have a social aspect to them, and that's a big part of the cohesion of a gang and these criminal organizations. But most of them do not have structures where there's a hierarchy or a money flow necessarily from the bottom to the top.
Look, y'all, they trying to cover their ass.
The gang members.
All right, he just said that because he know they already found out that Thug and them ain't been passing no money up. But previously in the trial, they tried to allude to, they was trying to find the money trail. Pay attention. Now, all of a sudden, in his testimony, he want to say that gangs don't always have to, be sending money up to the top of the pyramid or up the hierarchy or have a pay structure. They trying to cover their ass. Pay attention. He wasn't talking like that at first.
Themselves are independent actors who may specialize in specific crimes and are simply a part of this collective whole.
All right, pay attention to what he just said.
A hierarchy or a money flow necessarily from the bottom to the top. Most operate where the gang members themselves are independent actors who may specialize in specific crimes and are simply a part of this collective whole.
So now he trying to allude to the fact that, no, the gangs don't necessarily have to operate. They commit crimes themselves, but it works for the overall gang through just promoting. No money. So they switching up their RICO rules. I swear to God, pay attention to what they saying.
In your experience
Tap
in
the like button.
investigating,
Matter of fact, hold on. Let me do a scan. I mean, oh, we only got 30? Oh, hell no. Hell no. No. We ain't doing 30. What we doing on the likes, y'all? And we need some chat. What's up? I know people interest dying, but I'm still cooking. I've really found some stuff that's interesting. Straight up. I find interest in this part right here. Tap the like button. Well, let me just show. I pray to God that somebody tap the like button. It's Sunday. Maybe it'll work like that. I know it ain't that much content out there, y'all. Y'all kind of forced to rock with me, to be honest. It ain't much going on out there. It's actually looking kind of bad out there. Ain't nobody in the chat. Oh, everybody calm today. Uh-oh. Oh. That's how we rock. Everybody calm. It ain't even nobody in the chat. Minnie, what up? Oh, okay. Making coffee. Making coffee. Yeah. I'm out here, man. What's up, man? Y'all ain't trying to get buddy, man. Man, y'all bluffing, man. Y'all bluffing. Stop playing. Come on, man. What's up? Yeah, you see me? I'm in the wind, man. About where, man? You mean? What's going on with you, though? Huh? No, I ain't nothing. Styling and profiling on these hoes. You heard me? Yo, come on, man. Yeah, it's all that. We got that. Yo, where the sales at, man? I'm trying to get money, man. Straight up. Yeah, no tie today.
gang activity, does hourly display?
Oh, we coming though strong, Minnie. It's just
or
the weekend. I had to take the weekend off. Watch how I rock on them. I swear to God.
lingo during a crime?
Salute to the bow tie mafia, y'all. Wait till you see me. I'm coming out.
Have any bearing on whether you evaluate the crime as a gang?
I'm telling you.
Certainly.
Why is that?
Well, that goes back to the gang committing the crime in a highly visible manner such that a victim or witness can identify that a particular gang has committed that crime. Oftentimes, the gang crimes we're investigating may be retaliation against someone else for an insult or a slight against the gang or its members.
Cap.
So they'll want the other gang to know, and they need the public to know that this is retribution for that. That heads off future issues of the same kind. Also, gangs are
Billie
groups
Jean.
where violence is
Billie Jean and Andrea. Yo, y'all missed it yesterday, too. Look, right, I'm about to put a link in the chat. Y'all need to hit this link and subscribe to it, right? And pay attention. Because yesterday, I ain't gonna lie, y'all missed out. I went live in the cut. Y'all ain't know where I was at. It was only a couple people over there because I was on the back block. You heard me. But look, right? Yeah. Hit that link right there. No, not that one. Hold on. YouTube think they slick.
And the ability and the posturing of violence is rewarded. So by doing crimes where it's obvious that you and your gang are committing a particular violent crime is another way to enhance or grow the reputation of the gang itself.
Yo. The back block, bro. Tap that link at the top of the chat right there. Yeah, I know y'all. All right, first off, the reason why I be doing these runbacks is because the average person go to work, bro. Nobody ain't got no goddamn 40 hours a week to watch this trial. And you really can't catch up with it on the weekend. And even if you did, you still kind of out the loop because how you supposed to know all these people? You feel me? Like you really watching from like a, You know, so I'm like that one cousin that really watched Star Wars and can explain it to you, even though I don't watch Star Wars. But, you know, the TV shows, you know, maybe some of them you get caught up in and you don't know who the hell, what's going on. I'm one of them guys that just I happen to watch every damn episode of Breaking Bad or, you know, The Walking Dead. I can explain it to you. Now, I just got over the threshold of being able to understand most of the people that's what's going on for the most part, I swear. At the beginning, I ain't really feel like that. Now I feel a little bit comfortable being able to explain almost all of the damn overt acts, all the lawyers, all the damn criminals, seriously, how they interact with each other, all that, straight up.
And I want to go back to some of the tweets that we looked at yesterday from Mr. Williams. Back
From Mr. Williams.
From the Young Thug account on Twitter.
All right. Pay attention to that part right there, y'all. So Brian Steele flexed on her just now for saying that the Twitter account actually belonged to Young Thug. Now, what he done made him do was he done made them retract calling it Young Thug's Twitter account and basically saying an account that's operated for him generally. Now, if you ask me, the next step is, you can't mention it unless you can prove that Holmes posted that. I think Brian still got the leeway to go ahead and hard stamp it. For real. Now, listen to what I'm telling you. This is important. All right. Brian still done established, you can't prove my man was actually operating that account. It's still active right now. So, but we in here right now testifying and holding you accountable for freedom of speech to what was said on this account. Can't prove he typed it, though. Y'all do know that if a high-level person with a lot of money get accused of a crime for something they typed on their social media, that it won't go to court? How we in here really holding these boys accountable to that? I swear to God. There's people that send emails to people who barely even have followings to, do you need someone to run your accounts? You need help in social media? Pay us $39.95 a month and we'll run your social media for you. Young Thug had a Twitter account that typed and posted when he had no followers. Who the hell told that boy to open his Twitter every day in 2011? Was he a genius? He knew what was coming. Twitter wasn't even that damn popular. Twitter wasn't even that popular, y'all. I was in music already. When Twitter jumped off, all you could do was type, y'all. Think about that. Just a little quote. So was he really running that page? It's still running. All the tweets is about music. Now, of course, they saying that, he putting little blood terminology in there. That's the dressing. That's dressing. That's what marketing agent. So Amina Diop or someone like her never had control of Young Thug's page and decided this is the route we need to go with it, amplify in this type of way. He was never told, do more of that blood shit on your Instagram. I'm telling y'all, bro. Brian's still getting close. He need to flex on it, y'all, because the room is there. We talking contracts. They brushed up on it before in another part, right? In another part of the trial, they brushed up on, he paid to do these types of promotions. They like, nah, he on some gangster shit. No, bro, that's a commercial for a show. Talking about the Lil Wayne beef. And when they keep pulling up on the videos talking about, meet me there, we gonna do this, woo, woo, woo. Bro, that's a goddamn commercial for a show, man. He bluffing. Now, Brian still ain't drag on it yet to pull some, I'm waiting for some contracts to come out with some printed emails that say, we need you to do this with a whole script. I'm telling you, y'all, it's coming. It's coming. we gonna see a printout of an email sent to somebody that shows you what they be doing with these artists, y'all, telling them. Now, is Thug smart enough to adapt and add his little bells and whistles to it? Yeah, hell yeah.
I'll sustain the question. You can just rephrase it. So.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tap the like button. Ricky, what up?
Tweets from the Young Thug account on Twitter from yesterday. Back in 2011 to 2013, there was...
Bitch, homie Quan going on the stand testifying gonna go viral. Yeah, but for the wrong reasons. Homie ain't gonna say shit. No pun intended, man. Homie ain't gonna say shit.
There were a number of symbols or identifiers that show disrespect to the Crips. In your knowledge, training experience, are you aware of members of the Crips also being members of YSL?
I am.
And do you know some of those members, who they are?
I do.
Okay, if you can name a few.
Martinez Arnold and Sergio Kitchens.
Oh, all right. So if we got members of YSL that's Crips, and this gang is allegedly a hybrid gang, and you establish where the blood side of YSL comes from, the whole background, where the hell do the blue side come from? And why you ain't give me the whole background on that side if it's a hybrid and it's mixed? So you see how they linked the SMM and showed us all this Pistol Pete. So, I mean, you did no research into the Crip side? In how they blend, in what happens when they blend, what dynamics do we adapt? Like, are you not allowed to be disrespectful to Bloods around me? Vice versa. What rules do the hybrid gangs go by? How do they carry it with their opposing teams now that they're hybrid? So you just told me that originally Bloods and Crips are just all out, villains to each other, right? They adversaries. They always ops. But all right, now you tell me that they blended together in order to evade what? The law? All right. So now you're telling me they got two sets of rules that are slightly opposing. So can you explain how these dudes do adapt? How do the Crips adapt the Bloods? They using right hand and left hand. What they doing? Can you show me? Can you show me a hybrid sign that includes both B and C?
For two.
Now, understanding that YSL, as you define, is a hybrid gang and claims blood affiliation, based on your knowledge, training, and experience with hybrid gangs, explain to the jury how a hybrid gang can transition from the disrespect of Crips to embracing members within the gang, the members of the Crips within their gang.
So the term hybrid gang actually incorporates just this type of endeavor, just this type of group. And this term goes back over 20 years and is used to describe gangs that form from an overlap of oftentimes disparate groups, including members of rival gangs coming together within a separate group for specific intended purposes. And in many cases, what we see is that as gangs are ultimately in this pursuit of money, power, and respect, they'll leverage relationships with other gangs, even traditional rival gangs, if it suits their purposes and their pursuit of those three objectives.
Okay. And to your knowledge, did you mention specifically Martinez Arnold and Sergio Kitchens? Did either of those two individuals disavow their membership as Crips to be a member of YSL?
Not that I'm aware of.
That was coin. According to you, you can't do
In your
that.
experience as an investigator, gang investigator, have you heard of the terminology trap, the trap?
I have.
And what is your understanding of the trap?
It's a place where narcotics are sold.
And in your experience as an investigator, have you encountered any such places within Atlanta used by any particular gangs in Atlanta, a particular trap?
I have.
Okay. And specifically with YSL, in your experience, have you identified a particular trap that they use?
Trapping is hunt.
I have.
Okay. Where's the location?
Oh,
There are several.
trap means hunt.
I'm so fresh like this detergent. If you're not fresh, you so through with that.
Good morning, Herb. Yo, trapping is hunting true.
Locations that they use, one of them I believe is 2539
Sharif, what up?
Browns Mill Road. They've also frequented locations at 221 Cleveland Avenue and 151 Cleveland Avenue.
And the location at 2539 Browns Mill Road, do you know if that particular location had a name?
I do.
And what is that name?
It was called The Web.
PRB. He getting his information from compilations of information from different agencies in the internet. Anything that they can't, hold on. Anything that isn't outright debunked, they believe in it. So they taking information from bloggers, police, snitches, other gang members. They taking it from everywhere, yo, and compiling it, bro, for it to make, the most, to fit their narrative. Real rap. They not trying to get the truth. They know the truth. They know, they got somebody that done went and really gave them the whole real rundown, yo. Yo, the structures these gangs is using is military, yo. It was given to them, y'all. They ain't start that themselves. That's military. Check the foundation. It's military, y'all. Straight up. Like, that's why it's more apparent that you can actually attack the lack of organization because of the fade away from the militarized hierarchy. So look, if you look around at almost all other gangs, and I ain't no goddamn gang specialist, but what it look like? Their structures, way more militant than these Bloods right here, especially when you talking about hybrid. Straight up, y'all. So listen, Brian still can attack that. Yo, how these boys so far off from structure? Like, can this shit even work without structure? For real, y'all. Straight up.
Now, I want to show you what's been marked as defense exhibit.
Yo, if you want to beat this case, yo, all you got to do is look into the Banditos Rico. The motorcycle gang. All you got to do. Look at that Rico. And then look over here. It's nothing, no comparison, bro. You're gonna be insulted that these boys on trial right now. Straight in comparison, you're gonna be insulted.
34.
You want to see a real Rico? Look at Sue Surfing them. That's a real Rico. Them boys was getting busy.
And have you seen
And
this exhibit already previously?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, in that picture, do you see the person identified as Mr. Jeffery Williams?
I do.
All right. The individual in the back right-hand side with the jewelry on his neck, do you know who that individual is?
I do.
How do you know who that is?
You may, sir.
Hey, yo. How can Meech walk around with this jewelry on? And why is Thug pants clear? Pay attention to this picture, y'all. Check this out. All right, we got some anomalies. First off, Thug pants is clear. You can see through his jeans. I ain't never seen see-through jeans. I swear, y'all. I ain't never seen no damn see-through jeans. I ain't never seen nothing in nobody's pocket of no jeans, y'all. You see that? You can see the nigga phone through his pocket. Never seen that on no jeans. Them bitches, now them some slick ass jeans. I'm scared of him though. I mean his ass out. That mean you can see the texture of his ass. That's crazy right there. I ain't gonna lie, that's crazy. Yo. All right, but look, bro, look, all right. Holmes, I don't know what's up with Holmes, right? I ain't gonna just say he ain't, you know, I don't know. But I know one thing. He can't walk around with this jewelry like that unless somebody looking out for his ass. So how the hell he walk around like this, y'all? Real rap. He don't got no credentials to be safe with this. This should be a team on his ass. Or you got to worry about 50. But 50 from Queens. Oh, shit. Daddy reputation. No. Daddy reputation get your ass yanked. Daddy reputation get them bitches took. I ain't gonna lie. Daddy reputation get him is making you hot. I'm gonna keep it real. Daddy rep is what got you hot. Hell yeah, ransom. Unless somebody said, nah, boy, don't touch him. His motherfucking father fed. Yo, no. Nah, we can't get away with that. Them boys the police, bro. I will say, yo, 50 mysteriously get a little bit more spooky credit. I'm going to keep it real. He another one like Puffy, where if you say some shit in the wrong setting, somebody might come out the cut like a goddamn, yeah, and just give you like a little heads up. Yo, stop playing with 50. I swear. He one of them where people just mysteriously give you a little whisper like, yo, nah, don't play with him. I swear, he another one. It's only a couple guys that people done said some shit to me about when I start joking them. And niggas like laugh and say, yeah, don't play with y'all. And I look like, fuck y'all. And the nigga look at me like, nah, don't play with y'all though. For real. Puffy one of them and 50 go on the list. I don't know what these niggas done did, y'all. Seriously. Both them niggas on the list. Niggas ain't even say that about Jay-Z, bro. I'm keeping it real. Like maybe because I'm cool with Jay, I don't really talk that. Well, no, I said a couple things from time to time. I be having to speak on yo. You don't think nobody with no real paper reached out to him besides 50? Oh, nah, that's because, hold up, reword what you just said, PRB. No one had access. 50 had set up the access. Yeah, pay attention to that little timeline, y'all. They groomed homie to be an actor. So I'm asking you, did that family trade their way into legal money? Yo, is it the thing that you run up so much dirty money that you gotta take a fall to convert? Is that a thing? Like if you really ran up enough money on the streets and you told them people, like, bro, the whole thing was I wanted to get my peoples out of poverty. How do you really roll over? Do you gotta get them people something? Meaning like, yo, you done ran up like 100 mil. Now, technically that's all under the table though. You gotta give us something in order to keep any of it, like moving forward. You want to keep some? All right. Well, let's get together and sort this shit out. We want a couple properties. We want a couple, yeah. But we're allowing you to keep this, or we'll ignore whatever the fuck else you got if you give us this. How about that deal, y'all? All right. We know you got mad shit. This is what we looking for. We want the Ferrari, the 4 properties, all of the motherfucking money in this bank account over here. We know it's some other bank accounts. We don't give a fuck about them. This bank account right here, we want this one. And we gonna let and all your family members, you know, the regular degulas, we gonna let them chill. How you wanna do it? And all money from here on out is square. Everything clean from here on out, though. Pay attention. Yeah. After today, everything that we don't grab, the shit legit, bro. Think about that. Think about that, y'all. You jammed, I mean, the whole mission was, yo, to get the yeah. And once you cross, I mean, niggas got millions. You starting to get into what is you doing it for? So obviously, niggas was doing it to try to remove their whole damn family from goddamn poverty. How you do it, though? Some say you start businesses and all that. A lot of niggas still go down. You feel me? A lot of niggas still go down. A lot of turmoil still to get over the hump. Seriously. You can't just run up 100K and just save your whole family. Nah. Can't run up 10 million and just save your family. You gotta have some, what we doing though to maintain our status as being one. Our family is not poor anymore. You know, like our whole status has changed. They did that to your classmate dad. If you look, it's a couple guys. Harry, yo, real quiet right now. It's a couple guys, yo, they done went and did like 10, 15, but if you check their jacket, bro, that was a fair trade. Them boys ran up how much goddamn money? And what they say they confiscated? They only got what? What? Where the rest? Oh, hell no. Holmes is super straight. And then you think about what you had to give versus what other niggas did. All right, yo, I was locked up with a dude who ran with Rayful Edmond them. Got fed time. Only had maybe about a 6 or a 10 or some shit. I catch him. He coming through the jail when I'm coming in. He going home. So he coming in through a small jail. Like, he breezing, y'all. Nigga don't even talk. Nigga walking around the jail with Versace glasses on. Look, right? I ain't know who the fuck this nigga was. I ain't even pay attention to the nigga. The nigga, like I told y'all, he came in, popped up, smooth breezing, didn't talk to nobody. My cell buddy just happened to holler at him. So one day, my cell buddy got some pictures. He like, look, he's showing me the pictures. It's this nigga. This nigga stunting in the helicopter, all types of pictures, crazy shit, right? DC nigga. I say, yo. Oh, he said, yeah, yo, Ray, go home. He got to come home from the feds and shit. He got hope, but he got bread. Woo, woo, woo. I say, oh, shit. I didn't pay no attention to the nigga. Nigga wear gray sweatpants every day, y'all. Walking around the yard with the Versace glasses on, not talking to nobody, minding his business, y'all. He ready to go home. That boy had a couple $1 million put up somewhere. You can see it. Yo, you can see it. You could, it was like he wasn't worried about shit. This jail ain't nothing. I'm basically on the waiting to go home to spend this bread that I done ran up. And yeah. I did the time, like what they gonna do. Seriously, you could see it. Once my cell buddy showed me them pictures, y'all, and I paid attention to this nigga walking around, you could tell that nigga had a couple $1 million at home. For real. For real. I ain't even asked the nigga name, y'all. I know we could find that nigga in the storyline. I know I could find him. I know he ain't hard to find. Nah, these the type dudes ain't doing no documentaries, Waterside. He don't want you to know. He don't want you to know. Nah. Bro, the nigga, you ain't even see him. He wasn't even wearing no flashy clothes because he understood he was in a bum jail, bro. He understood the dynamics. D Wood, your connection probably messed up. I say that to say, yo, Meech. But Meech did tell, though, y'all. Meech did tell. Well, it's weird how he told, but technically he told. He did a weird ass tell, which alludes to he might have told before. Anyway, I think that boy was a federal agent by the time he popped up on camera down there in Atlanta trying to manipulate people into being loud on camera about selling drugs across the whole United States. I ain't gonna lie. That shit hurt the black community, to be honest. We should shun his ass and his TV show and 50 Cent for even bringing that whole idea back up like that shit was glamorous. Who the hell sell birds across the United States and put up a billboard? I don't even need to go no further. Fuck bringing animals to a goddamn party. Straight up. Now, when we was younger, I ain't really glamorized Meech because I wasn't into the coke. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I ain't really play that white. I play with the green. So all that old Scarface type, I want to be a kingpin and yo, we could have birds and all that old, yo, I had 17.5, 10 a key, all this shit niggas was talking. I was the nigga walking around on the streets talking, telling niggas, yo, y'all niggas going to jail for the rest of y'all goddamn life. They not playing with niggas about that shit. I'm playing over here because they playing a little bit more lenient over here with this. Plus, everybody ain't got it. Y'all niggas all want to be him because y'all been brainwashed to try to, you know what I mean, be him. And Meech was like literally a physical Scarface. For real, I don't know if y'all was alive when this shit popped out. Yo, how the fuck I'm in Baltimore, bro, and I see this shit. Yo, the weird part about the BMF years, it's only about 2 years of the shit, right? And then the coke dries up. Mysteriously. Like, it appears that it's flooded. Everybody like, oh, shit, yeah, that's a go-to. But technically, that was the last couple years of the flood. If you ask me. I ain't been outside recently to see what the snow looked like. But, straight up. Like, that shit was fishy, y'all. I'm going to keep it real. I think Holmes was the feds the whole time. All that shit don't make sense. Telling you, bro, if your ass got access to call up 100 birds, you don't want to see nobody. You won't even trust nobody no more. I swear to God, meet a new nigga. Fuck no. Where? Hell no. Yo, don't bring nobody near me. Where? Yo, I got this nigga from Cali. What? Fuck no. Yo, we already jamming, bro. We don't need nobody new, bro. Matter of fact, about to start cutting niggas off. Limiting the shit. You understand? Only keeping the good shit. The good sales in the safe spots. You feel me? All that hot meat, extra niggas? No. Nah. So, like, this nigga comes out and does a fucking national commercial on Smack DVDs telling niggas basically, yo, if you got a couple of dollars, meet me at the strip club in Atlanta. We got work down this bitch. And we getting the shit where you need it. Seriously, that's what the fuck he was saying. I don't know if y'all heard what he was saying, but that's what the fuck he was saying. Yo, we in Atlanta. Got mega coke. We looking out for niggas all across the United States. Pull up.
Is being a rapper mutually exclusive from being part of an enterprise?
It is not.
Is being a rapper mutually exclusive to being a person who commits crimes?
No.
Yo, how about this, y'all? That DVD that nigga was on might have been the #1 selling DVD on the streets ever. I swear to God, I'm not exaggerating. That time period that DVD came out and what was on it was like the goddamn peak of the bootleg game, y'all. I swear. Ask somebody. That bitch was everywhere, bro. That's the peak of bootlegging, y'all. When that shit dropped, I swear. Man, what made that nigga put that out?
Record label and being a rapper and having a record label.
We'd have never met Jeezy without that shit.
Member and having a record label mutually exclusive.
Basis, foundation, all these parts.
And let me ask you this: in your experience in investigating individuals who are gang members and also musical artists, are these things mutually exclusive?
They're not.
In your expense, in
That was a federal trap. Now that I think about it, man, that nigga was literally baiting niggas in federally. Cause listen, the way he moving, you feeling like yo slick. He above the law. He got the play set up. I ain't even got to worry about that part. Whole time, hell no.
your experience, do gang members sometimes use their money to promote the gang or recruit new members?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the foundational things they do.
In your experience, is it common for rappers that are affiliated with gangs to shout out their gangs in their song or in their music?
It is.
Foundation. I'll sustain the question.
Let me ask you this specifically as it relates to YSL. Have you heard songs by YSL members in which they shout out their gang YSL or any of the associated gangs, 30 Deep or Rock Crew?
I have.
To the form of this question, gang YSL. I'm all over rejections.
I have.
In your experience, have you seen gang members have a music label or entertainment company that has the same initials as their gang?
I have.
Tell the jury how have you seen that?
Just to let y'all know, to the people that's familiar with BMF, you probably not familiar with this part. The feds knew them boys had birds in 1990. 1990, y'all. Yes, I got so much goddamn BMF paperwork, y'all. I downloaded their whole goddamn file damn near, right? It's so much I couldn't read it all. I just stopped. It was just overwhelming, right? But some of the most interesting parts was when I was cracking into it, the investigation into these boys was from starting in early 1990. Like it stated in their paperwork.
So the examples I just gave.
Oh, and them boys smoked somebody in Atlanta and got away with it. The law knew though. The law knew they smoked another Detroit nigga in Atlanta. He was allegedly telling. I couldn't find out who he told on. They know. The law know who he told on. Allegedly, Meech and them came down there and smoked him. And then they got put in the mix. Who the fuck really was setting it up, though? Pay attention, y'all. I bet they ain't talk about that shit in the TV show. Yeah. Fuck that TV show, y'all. That shit ain't the truth. For real. You want the paperwork?
Rock Crew and Red Cartel.
You wanna know what really happened?
As did their rival gang YFN.
So essentially, this nigga is fucking Frank Matthews of the Coke.
ABG did as well. I don't know if they ever actually had a record label themselves, but this is actually a trend for many of our gangs, including ABG. Particularly in this time period from 2010 to 2012, almost all of them would.
Yo, before 2013, what gang was ABG repping? They all was SMM. What blood gangs was in Atlanta before the split? And how did the split happen before Nut died? What caused the split? Who flipped? Mean a lot, y'all. Who flipped, why they flipped, and how they flipped, and what pressure was put on for the flipping. Seriously. Now, sometimes people flip because they get knowledge, real knowledge, meaning your knowledge you had before wasn't right. That's just my opinion, y'all. I could be wrong. I just thought that's what I seen. You know, niggas be online telling.
Continue to use their gang name and then add entertainment at the end of it and call themselves record labels.
Hey, yo. My bad, y'all. I'm brainstorming. You You gotta excuse me when I do this shit. But listen, if Big Boo invested in Young Thug's career, how much was he getting back out of his career? And was it lucrative enough for him to have to go? Why was Thug at the scene of his death? Standing in the crowd.
Intent is my objection.
All objections, sir.
And what you've seen with other gangs,
We about to cook that, but like,
consistent with what has occurred with YSL, the gang turned into YSL, the music label.
Basis, sir.
Johnson Knox, Young Ken Jury.
I hold, sir.
It is consistent.
Courts indulgence for a moment.
Nah, Grease. Listen. The blood shit pop up late 2000s. Before 2010. All right. They getting their mind right. Somebody come through and tell somebody that they not official. It fucks the whole scene up. Who did that? All right. Yo, where does Nasty New and Bloody J cross paths? Nasty New rapped it, Bloody J rapped in a song that Nasty New showed him something. Now, did he mean literally he really showed him or what? So, niggas was chilling with Nasty New on the streets. He got locked up in 2003, didn't he? So some corny producer from out of town came to Georgia and has the highest rank in some Bloods down there. In his 50s, from jail. And they saying that's Thug big homie. What? Hold on, y'all. Something ain't right about that. Like, where this come from? And Holmes ain't official. Holmes, the reason he locked up is dumb as hell, y'all. Dumb as hell. I was about to get spicy, y'all. Turn up. Tap the like button. It's Sunday. Hallelujah. Let me get 30 more likes up here. Salute to all 150 of y'all. Yo, hit that link at the top of the chat. Subscribe to that. Straight up. If you really with it, that's where you want to be. When I ain't here, I ain't gonna lie, that link right there.
I have no other questions.
Cross. Oh, yo took his headphones out for the cross. He want head too. Girl, you know it's true. Come on, tap the like button, y'all. Let's get 25 more likes up here. Straight up. No bow ties. We on bandana mode today. Don't play. I swear to God.
Skater Belknap, how are you, sir? Well, you?
Subu.
Thank you. I believe you just identified Demetrius Flannery in a picture that was shown to you by the state. I did. Okay. And you spoke about the actions of his father, correct? I don't believe I spoke about the actions of his father.
They don't even say what? Nah, nobody don't say none of that shit I just said. What, the shit I just said?
Okay, Demetrius Flannery. Let's just talk
Nah, nobody don't say that no more. I hope not. That shit been played out. That's the only reason I'm saying it, because it almost sounds kind of weird now.
about him, the individual in the picture. He was 5 years old when his father was incarcerated. Is that correct?
You need to go to jail. You saying
yes.
that shit.
Okay. You are not sitting here claiming that the actor, Demetrius Flannery, is involved in illegal activity, are you? Are we asking about senior or junior? I'm asking about the individual in the photo that was shown. Okay, no, I'm not alleging any criminal activity by him. He's an actor. As far as I know, yes. He's appeared in a high school drama named Euphoria. Are you aware of that? I'm not. Starring Zendaya. Are you aware of that?
Accidentally said you're not familiar with.
Are you familiar with it?
I'm not.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the movie Taurus starring Megan Fox that he appeared in? I'm not. And he was 5 years old when these individuals from BMF were arrested, correct? I believe so, yes. Okay. You testified about some social media posts by Christian Eppinger, correct? Yes. Or that appeared on Christian Eppinger's page, or a page purported to belong to Christian Eppinger. I did. Okay. And you said that he refers to himself as YSL Briss on the social media, correct? Yes, that's the vanity name on the social media account. Okay, and you also talked about some Twitter posts under the name, what was the name? Thugger? No, sir. Young Thug? Yes. Okay. So, and you talked about those Twitter posts, and you also, as part of your direct examination, talked about a picture with my client, Shannon Stillwell, standing with Quentin Porter, correct? I did. Okay. So,
Where?
the social media of Christian Eppinger, are those posts that you were following and you collected as part of your investigation? Some of them are, yes. Did you pull those posts, or did someone else pull those posts for you? I believe I pulled some of those posts, and some were pulled by other people. Who were the other people that pulled posts? I couldn't tell you specifically. Who gave you the posts? They were not given to me. They were part of this demonstrative for the jury. Okay, who sent you the posts? Did the district attorney's office send you these posts? I'm trying to make sure I'm accurate in answering your question. They created the demonstrative that was used in the jury, but I was not sent the individual posts. Okay, so the district attorney's office created your demonstrative that included those posts, and then asked you to talk about them in court. Well, I don't believe it's my demonstrative. Okay, their demonstrative. It's a demonstrative that was used during my testimony. Okay, I think we get the idea. Okay. The alleged Jeffery Williams social media posts on Twitter under the name Young Thug. Did you pull those posts? I did not. Who pulled those posts? I don't know who specifically pulled those posts. Who gave those posts to you? Again, the posts themselves were not given to me, but they were compiled into the demonstrative, and that was shown to me by the state. Okay, so the state, when did they show you this demonstrative? I honestly don't remember specifically when, sometime over the last couple of weeks.
So over the last couple of weeks, you knew that you were going to come in and testify.
I did.
Okay. And the state prepared a demonstrative and showed it to you.
That's correct.
Okay. And your understanding, and you don't even know who pulled the post.
I don't know who specifically pulled the post, no.
Okay. And you notice that there's bolded words in those posts, correct?
I did.
Do those bolded words tell you that whomever pulled the post searched all the posts for specific words?
The presence of bold text would probably tell me that was a search term, but as far as what they were searching, the second part of your question, I don't know that I could determine that just from that.
So someone in the district attorney's office just searched Twitter for keywords such as shoot and blood and
Whoa.
slime, correct?
Again, I don't know who
They searched
actually
those
performed that
terms?
search.
Okay, did you ever go back and examine Young Thug Twitter posts in total? Did you ever go back beyond what was given you by the state and search all his posts?
Well, in terms of ever, we were monitoring, and I was monitoring his social media at the time when many of these posts were
I didn't
made.
ask ever in preparation of trial.
Your Honor, he did let him finish his.
It was non-responsive.
It wasn't non-responsive.
In preparation of trial, did you go back and review all his posts in total?
I did not review all of them, no.
Okay. Who gave you the picture of Mr. Stillwell and Quentin Porter?
That was part of the social media post I reviewed from the state.
Okay, so the state pulled that and then gave it to you in preparation of you testifying.
Again, I don't know who pulled the picture.
Yo, you see how he evading the questions? Shard on him, y'all. Shard on to him. Well, the secret is Shard really works with Brian Steele, y'all. They work out the same office. So pay attention. And pay attention to how he what would you call it? He go to Adams and Steele to kind of like, make sure, y'all, anything y'all need me to say before, you know what I mean? So peep how he played with them. So look, this is what I thought about the other day. I said, what if Thug told Brian Steele, bro, I want you to be my lawyer, but I also gotta look out for a couple other guys on the trial to make sure they situated. And Brian Steele orchestrated the lawyer team for the other people, some of the other people that's important. I thought about this at the beginning, like, yo, why it seemed like the cohesion between these lawyers is like premeditated. It real rap.
But the state was the one who provided it to me.
Okay. Investigator Belknap, you've been investigating gangs in Atlanta since what year? I believe you testified to this. I missed it. So.
Oh, my bad. This the part, y'all. The main part that made me consider this was when you in a RICO trial, the defense that your co-defendants is using has something to do with your approach. So let me give you an example. So say Stillwell lawyer wasn't in compliance with Brian Steele, right? So that means his lawyer could possibly be using arguments that could be a problem for Young Thug, a conflict. You understand? But it's weird because we both going against the state to get our guy off. But my defense don't go with yours, so technically it's competing with yours. Because something that I'm ready to use as my defense actually, is making your man's, look a little bit dirty. So this means that all the lawyers, unless they got ready to throw somebody underneath the bus, they gotta be in compliance, or else we gonna attack you now. So as soon as I find out your defense is throwing my client underneath the bus, I'm ready to formulate a defense to throw your client underneath the bus. The only thing I can do, because that's how I'm going to address it with my client. Look, bro, Holmes over there, he ain't concerned about you going home. He trying to go home. So his defense is this, which technically going to look bad for you because he ain't in, you know. So I keep, I think this is a must in this situation. I could be wrong though.
What year did you begin?
I've been in the gang unit since 2009.
2009. Is it fair to say that you've been investigating gangs in Atlanta since 2009?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And what year did you begin investigating YSL?
YSL investigation would have been 2013.
Crazy. Pay attention, y'all. So this gang expert right here named Belknap. Yeah, Belknap. Belknap. I believe that's how you spell it. Look, right? He been investigating YSL since 2013. It's 2014. I mean, 2024 now, right? 11 years. We done been here for 2 years watching this case. We done seen all the overt acts. Yo, to watch an alleged gang that's alleged to be the worst, one of the worst and most violent in Atlanta, and this how you coming? I'ma keep it real. His job was easy for 11 years, y'all. Listen, watch how they ready to bust his ass down. Keep in mind, 11 years. And watch his lack of real knowledge. Yo, imagine you was studying somebody, getting paid to watch somebody for 11 years. Watch this lack of knowledge this boy got, though.
And I believe that you've testified that you consider YSL a hybrid gang.
I do.
Okay. Your investigation of YSL over the last 11 years or so, that would include an investigation into the structure of YSL. Is that fair?
I don't know if we necessarily investigate the structure. That's not necessarily the object of the investigation.
All right. I gotta stop it during this point to break down and chop up this session that Short Ray had with him. So boom, here you go right here, chopping at the RICO. Directly chopping at the RICO. So he asked him about structure. I want you to keep that word in mind for the rest of this whole damn RICO trial. RICO is built on structure. Without structure, there's no RICO. That's why we keep asking, yo, where RICO? Even though he did get locked up in this RICO, in the studio raid. That's a long story. He's not here today. He ain't get charged. It's a long story. He the dude that ran the studio. His name was Rico. It's funny. But look, right? Shard is attacking Rico. Rico, you need structure. Your gang needs structure, meaning someone at the top, some type of organization. Racketeering. Criminal organization. Yeah, furtherance. Remember? So Shard is attacking structure, meaning who's the second in command, who the first, who the third, who the sergeant of arms. You know all these things. I'm sure you played a video game. Even video games tell you the structures of gangs. The way you move up on levels of video games when you're playing a video game that simulates gangs, it tells you the structure. What level you at now? What level you at? Surely it has a name. The Army has structure. All these gangs, but yet YSL don't have them. Watch them attack this though, y'all.
Although structure is one of the things that's uncovered during an investigation into a street gang.
What about, it would include investigating suspected members?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And it would also include investigating what you would deem common identifiers of YSL?
Yes, it does.
And that it would also include investigating the rules of YSL, correct?
Yeah, so to the extent that a particular gang has rules, it would be included.
Could you repeat that answer again? To the extent?
To the extent that a gang has specific rules, yes, that may come out in an investigation.
Okay. And now you've also, have you investigated traditional gangs before?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Traditional gangs, let's talk about that for a minute. To obtain membership in a traditional gang, is there some sort of, in the general term, ceremony or some sort of things that people generally have to go through to become a member?
Yes, and it varies by gang, but there is some form of initiation, sometimes including rituals.
Okay, those rituals could include being beaten into the gang, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and could you describe in a traditional gang that you've investigated what beating into a gang would be?
Sure. So a beat into the gang typically is a set period of time where a prospective member is to endure a beating by a set number of members of the gang.
Okay, traditional gangs also you've seen in your career sexing into a gang, correct?
I know that this is a practice within gangs. I don't recall working a specific case in my career involving a sex sin.
Okay, fair enough. And also in traditional gangs, you would agree that the initiation process could include a requirement of committing certain violent crimes, correct?
It certainly can.
Okay. Isn't it true that in the 11 years that you've been investigating YSL, you haven't found any specific requirements or initiations required for people seeking to claim YSL?
No, I have not.
Okay, you're not aware of any beating in?
I would want to refresh my memory before giving you a final answer on that. I believe we have had some situations in our schools where some students were beaten and said that the beat-in was to join YSL.
Children?
Yes.
Okay.
Juveniles, I would say.
All right. Do you have any evidence that any individuals here today were involved in any beat-ins?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. You're not aware of, and all those other things that we talked about for the requirements of joining a traditional gang, those don't exist for YSL, correct?
So no, we haven't seen the traditional gang methodologies that were asked here as far as joining YSL now.
You're not aware of any, when someone wishes to join YSL, of any official vote of existing members or anything like that, correct?
I'm not aware of one.
You're not aware of any certain individual or person who's like the dean of admissions that decides who can join YSL or not?
No, I'm not.
Okay. And no, someone that wants to claim YSL can unilaterally declare themselves a member. Isn't that true?
I do not believe that's true.
Okay. We'll talk about that.
Why you don't? What you mean?
Okay, let's talk about rules, gang rules. You would agree that traditional gangs, one thing that you often find with traditional gangs, whether you're searching houses of gang members or cars of that, or different, or jail cells maybe, you can find a book of knowledge, correct?
We often do, yes.
And that's for traditional gangs.
That is correct.
Okay, and what is a book of knowledge?
So a book of knowledge is a document created by the gang or its members that often gives a history of the gang. It gives rules for the gang.
All right. So this part right here is short, is busting down how YSL lacks organization, and they haven't found proof of the book of knowledge, which normally they do find. So he watch what he say though in response to it, and this is very important going forward, y'all.
To conduct their behavior within the context of the gang. It often may have codes that the gang uses, their rules, their structure, things of that nature.
A code of conduct?
Oftentimes, yes.
Okay. And who writes these books of knowledge in traditional gangs?
They're created by the gang, and they're copied and distributed by the members.
Okay. And you've seen books of knowledge before in Atlanta?
I have.
Okay. Could you give me an example of a gang that you've seen have a book of knowledge?
Sex, money, murder is an
What?
example.
Okay.
He smoked them. He smoked them, y'all.
All right. In your 11 years of investigating YSL, isn't it true that you've, to your recollection, never seen a book of knowledge for YSL?
So I have.
That's yes or no?
Several books of knowledge that came out of the Department of Juvenile Justice.
Children.
Juveniles, yes.
That's an air ball.
Bro.
Okay. In your investigations, when you're investigating people that you feel are members, you personally, have you seen books of knowledge?
I have not seen books of knowledge.
Oh my God. You haven't in 11 years. What? But you just testified that you have seen it from official gangs. But you ain't seen none of this from YSL. So they just running around rinky-dink. No actual organization. No structure.
And the books of knowledge are what typically contains written rules for the quote-unquote gang, correct?
Yes, that's typically what they would contain.
Traditional gangs require dues, correct?
Oftentimes they do.
Okay. In your investigation of YSL, have you found any sort of formal due structure for YSL?
I have not.
All right, and I wanted to talk to you about false flagging, okay? And could you just explain what is false flagging when an individual who is not a member of a group claims that they're a member of the group?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and that can happen through social media, correct?
It could, yes.
It could happen in person.
It could.
It could happen through someone who's not a member of a group wearing certain clothing that expresses to the world that they're a member, correct?
I'm sorry, could you ask that again?
Someone who's not a member of a group wearing certain clothing that sends a message to the world that they're a member, but they really aren't. That would be false flagging, correct?
It could be.
Or flashing signs or gang signs that indicate that they're a member of a group that they're not really a member of, correct?
It could be, yes.
Okay, and with traditional gangs, there are consequences for false flagging. Wasn't that your testimony yesterday?
That's correct.
Okay, and examples of those consequences would be what?
Typically, it's going to be an act of violence. It could be a beating. It could also be ultimately death.
And just to be clear, we're talking about for traditional gangs.
We are.
Okay. Okay. In your investigation of YSL, you said you monitor social media, correct?
Yes, sir.
You've seen hundreds, thousands of people in Georgia on social media hashtagging SLAT, correct? Is that fair to say?
I don't know if I've seen thousands.
Hundreds?
I don't even know if I've seen hundreds of different people hashtagging SLAT.
Okay. What about hashtag ESPN?
I don't know that I've seen hundreds.
Okay. You've seen people in the community hashtagging that, correct?
I'm not sure what you mean by in the community.
Do you feel that every person that's ever hashtagged SLAT or hashtag slime is necessarily a YSL member?
I don't know that I've seen every post that's hashtagged SLAT or slime. I would certainly say that the ones that I can recall, there are surely incidents where someone's hashtagged it that may not be a member of the gang, but I haven't seen a lot of instances of that.
Let's make it simple. You're aware of athletes wiping their nose, correct?
I am.
On national TV during football games.
Sure.
NBA games.
Yeah.
Okay. You're aware of athletes saying slime.
Yes.
Okay. Have you determined that those athletes are members of YSL?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So we talked about traditional gangs and the repercussions for false flagging. Isn't it true that in your personal knowledge and knowledge as a gang investigator, you're not aware of repercussions for false flagging for people who claim YSL?
Again, I'd want to review some things before giving you a final answer, but I do believe we've had some incidents, particularly with younger members, with fights related to someone claiming to be YSL and others rejecting that assertion.
In schools?
In schools, but also, I believe, outside of the schools as well.
Okay, you spoke to myself and other attorneys last week, correct?
I did.
And you said that your understanding is there may have been a couple incidents in schools about children or students arguing about who's really YSL, correct?
That's correct.
All right, that's the extent of your understanding of any repercussions about false flag, correct?
Yeah, to my recollection, that's
For
correct.
YSL.
That is correct.
Okay, and you don't have any information through your investigations that any of these gentlemen have sought to punish anyone for false flagging YSL?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. All right. Your Honor, may I approach the witness? Thank you. Your Honor, I'm going to approach with one picture to begin with.
The exhibit number or?
It's DS4, what I've marked as DS4.
You see PS4?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Investigator Belknap, do you recognize the individual depicted in DS4?
I do.
Is that person Micah Anderson?
It is.
Okay. Mr. May I publish the picture to the jury, Your Honor? Your Honor, at this point, I would ask to admit DS4 into evidence.
Any objection to DS4?
None from the station.
All right, DS4 is admitted. Oh, you see it?
Thank you, Your Honor. Investigator Belknap, that is Micah Anderson, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I believe you testified that, in your opinion, he is a gang member.
Yes, he is.
And what gang is that?
He's a member of ABG and Sex Money Murder.
Okay. In your expert testimony, he is not a member of YSL?
No, sir.
Okay. And he's also a rapper, isn't that correct?
He is.
Oh, okay. And this picture is taken from the video that was shown yesterday behind the scenes of his rap video, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, the state, you're aware that at least back in 2015, he had a significant other?
I am.
Okay. And who was his significant other's name?
Arshelian Bennett.
Okay. Arshelian Bennett. Okay. And the state asked you for an alias of Micah Anderson yesterday. And what was the alias you gave?
Ola Playa.
Okay. Isn't it true that Micah Anderson has a second alias as well?
Yes.
Doesn't he also call himself, and people call him King Slime?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach?
You may, sir.
Investigator Belknap, I just handed you what's marked DS5 Do you recognize the young lady that's in the middle of that photo?
I do.
Okay, and who is that young lady?
So I've seen this picture before, so I know that that young lady is Shelley and Bennett.
Okay, you're aware of the existence of this photo?
I am.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I would ask to admit DS5 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
May I publish?
Yes, I will amend the publish as you said.
Okay, and the lady in the middle, is that Shelley and Bennett?
I believe it is, yes.
Okay, and the shirt that she is wearing, could you read what it says?
It says, "Free King Slime Ola Playa."
Okay, and are those pictures of Ola Playa, also known as Micah Anderson, also known as King Slime, on the back of her shirt, if you can tell?
I can, and they are.
Okay, thank you. Now, may I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Investigator Belknap, I just handed you which has been marked DS6. Do you recognize the gentleman in that photo?
I do.
Okay, and who are those gentlemen?
I believe that's Marcel Mayfield and Fremando Crenshaw.
Okay, and is that a still from the video that was played yesterday in court by the state?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I want to ask you, in which individual, in your honor, I move to admit DS6 into evidence.
Any objection?
No from the state, Your
All
Honor.
right, DS6 is admitted, you may publish as you see fit.
And Investigator Belknap, the individual, which individual is Mr. Fremando Crenshaw?
He would be the person on the right.
Okay, is that the person wearing the beads without a shirt on?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you know Fremando Crenshaw to go by a nickname?
I do.
What is that nickname?
YSL Mondo.
Mondo. Do you believe that Mr. Crenshaw, Mondo, is a YSL member?
I do.
Okay. In your investigation, did it reveal that, and to your knowledge, he was a founder of YSL?
He does claim to be a founder of YSL.
Is Mr. Crenshaw still alive?
He is.
Does he live in the Atlanta area?
He does.
Okay. And this founder of YSL who lives in the Atlanta area, is he charged on this indictment?
He is not.
Was that your decision?
I did not draft the indictment.
Was it, to your knowledge, the district attorney's office under Fonnie Willis who drafted this indictment?
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
Was it the district attorney's office that drafted this indictment?
To the extent that I can testify about the district attorney's office's business, I believe it was.
I beg the court's indulgence just for a moment.
Yes, sir.
Investigator Belknap, do you know, as an investigator, you go to court for these cases, correct?
I'm sorry?
Do you go to court for the cases that you investigate, correct?
Oftentimes, yes.
Okay. Do you know whether Mondo has ever been represented by Fonnie Willis?
Objection, relevance.
I stand objection.
I have no further questions.
Thank you, sir. Cross and right.
Your Honor, you said to take up the matter. Rule of completeness.
Come on.
So Shard basically broke down that they don't have a RICO. Let me know what y'all think, because that all of that argument gonna come back around towards the end of the trial, straight up.
And the address. Investigator Belknap.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to talk to you about a couple more things.
How the volume
The
get
web, that came up in your direct testimony.
It did.
Is that a house?
It is.
And the address is, do you know the address?
I do.
What is the address?
volume real
It's
low.
2539 Brownsmill Road.
Okay. And that's a freestanding house?
I believe it is.
Have you been there before?
I don't recall.
So you're not sure if you've ever been to this location before,
That's correct.
okay? Is it across the street from Brownsmill Golf Course?
It is.
Okay. So you know generally where it is, but as I said, you're not certain you've been there.
That's some bullshit. Hold on, y'all. I gotta get this volume right. Like the volume went low.
Just to be clear to the jurors, you are not saying that the web is a trap house.
I don't believe that question was asked
crazy.
of me.
Okay, that's fair. So that's not your testimony.
I don't believe that I've testified to that.
Okay.
If it wasn't asked of me.
Okay. Are you aware of any specific individuals and dates
It's
that
really
people
just
have been
love.
arrested for selling drugs at 2539 Brownsmill Road?
Off the top of my head, I'm not.
Okay. So as you sit here in court today testifying to this jury, you cannot name any individuals who have been arrested for selling drugs at 2539 Brownsmill Road?
Arrested there, not off the top of my head, no.
Okay, and certainly you can't give any dates?
No, not without reviewing.
Fair enough. Maybe the court's indulgence briefly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You are familiar with this indictment?
I am.
Overt Act 104 deals
Not familiar with it.
with Mr. Durante Beebe. You know, strike that. Strike that. I'm going to ask you about, on direct, you testified, I believe, that about gangs becoming involved in the entertainment industry.
I was asking questions about that, yes.
Okay. You would agree that popular music, is full of references to gang activity or gangs at this point in 2024, correct?
I would disagree that pop music is full of gang references.
Would you agree that a large amount of popular music makes references to gangs?
I don't think I would agree with that.
Okay. Are the references to gangs made in pop music?
There are.
Okay, so your disagreement is a disagreement in degree, but not whether that exists or not.
Yeah, I would say that's accurate.
Okay. Did you see Snoop Dogg perform at the Super Bowl
I did.
in front of over 1 million people?
Yeah, I did.
And he did, in fact, crip walk to a cheering crowd.
Yes, he did.
Okay. And this industry that has adopted these gang references, you would agree that that is, in fact, a multi-billion-dollar industry at this point, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Vagueness.
I'll sustain it as a form. You can rephrase
The
it.
popular music industry that has adopted these gang references, you would agree that it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Still vague.
I sustain the objection. Just rephrase it, sir.
Okay. You would agree that the music industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yes.
And as stated, you would agree that the music industry has willingly adopted references to gangs in the music.
I would not agree with the fact that the music industry has as a whole adopted gang references.
Okay. Parts of the music industry?
Yeah, I think that some in the music industry have accepted the gang influence in popular music, yes.
Okay. How many, you would agree that one of the largest stages for the music industry would be performing at halftime at the Super Bowl, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
There's 6.5 minutes already.
And
Bro, what y'all think about that?
Halftime at the Super Bowl,
Yo, what y'all think about him being on his heels about the time like that? I ain't never heard him say that to the state.
there were explicit references to gang culture.
That was
Unfortunately, yes,
crazy.
there were.
Beg the court's indulgence.
Yes, sir.
Tap the like button, yo. Help me get to 100. We should have crossed 100, man. Good morning. I'm in here rocking with y'all.
Thank you for the extra time. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Steele.
All right, Mr. Steel Ray, get up here and cook. Watch how he come. Watch how he coming. Yo, Brian Steele about to, do the cross exam on Detective Belknap, gang expert for APD. Brian Steele about to work him. Watch. Look, watch his style. Look. You know how he do. He do the little smile. Look. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You may begin.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When you just said, unfortunately, to the question the Honorable Mr. Shard asked you, I just want to make sure that I'm tracking you, okay? You said specifically that a human being showing a crip walk or a C or a gang component, identifier, that's what you use. You said that that's unfortunate that that's being shown at the Super Bowl. Is that fair to say? And if I misunderstood you, just correct me.
That's an inaccurate reflection of my testimony.
Okay, what did you say?
It's an inaccurate reflection of the question, actually, that I was asked.
Explain what you said, and I think your word was unfortunately.
I did say unfortunately, and what I found through my experience, what a century of research has shown, what the community at large recognizes, is that criminal street gangs.
Did you just see Steele blow his shoulders left and right? I ain't even gonna lie. You know he about to smoke boots when he blow his shoulders.
things are bad. They're bad for society. They're bad for their victims. They're bad for the communities that are plagued by them. They're even bad for the members themselves. At some point in many gang members' lives, they realize that. Many of them step away from that life. Others aren't given that opportunity. So to the extent that the largest musical stage in the world provided an opportunity to present gang identifiers in a way that could be seen as positive, I see it as a net negative for society as a whole.
But there is absolutely nothing illegal about me going on the Super Bowl halftime show and doing this with my hand, like a C is what I'm trying to do. Is that true?
Big C's.
There's nothing illegal about that.
And there's nothing illegal about me going on the
Loki Blue Steel. You seen him? Big C's.
halftime show at the Super Bowl next weekend, or this weekend, I guess, and doing something like that, like a B, right?
There's nothing illegal in that act.
Ooh.
The fact that you find it, and I'm not criticizing you at all, but the fact that you find it, my word is repugnant, that's the difference between America and, like, let's say Russia, right?
Yeah.
Sure, it isn't. And I also didn't say that it was repugnant.
That was my word.
It was, but you're misrepresenting my testimony, and I do not believe that that's the difference between America and Russia.
Well, let's break that down.
Nah. It is repugnant because you up there frowning your face up, got your nose all poked up like you smell something bad when you talking about this hip hop culture. So it must be repugnant to you. You're looking like your nose done smelled something you don't like. You all flared up over there, so it must be repugnant.
In America, would you agree with me, and Georgia, people have the right to expression. Is that true?
It absolutely is true.
And people have the right to association, right?
They absolutely do.
And if I want to wear a cross around my neck or a tattoo of a cross, that's my belonging, right? That's my being.
It absolutely is.
And I have the same preference if I want to wear something that, let's say, another religion, Muslim or Hindu or Buddha, right?
That's certainly true.
But in certain countries, and I used Russia, but in many countries, unfortunately, well, maybe not unfortunately, many countries across the world, people's expressions get diminished or put down, right?
Oftentimes they do.
And the fact that I'm just using myself, have a YSL tattoo on my face, and I sing about drive-by shootings, and I am seen all the time doing a crip walk or doing a beat